All right, as I mentioned before the break, the governor has a road proposal, and here to talk about it here on ABC 24 this week is Deidre Malone. She is a political consultant and also head of the Carter Malone Group, and Reverend Ken Whalum with New Olivet Worship Center. So let's look at the plan, and then we can talk about it on the other side, okay? This is basically what he's looking for. He wants to have more public-private partnerships where private companies would build and maintain new roads. He wants to develop something called choice lanes, and if you've been to other larger cities, this is very common, where you pay a toll. A camera reads your whatever on your windshield, and then they'll just charge you. But if you want to go in a faster lane and ahead of all the rush hour traffic, you can do that. You just pay $1.50, or I've seen as high as $3, depending on the city. Electrical vehicles, they feel, need to pay more. Right now, you're billed $100 a year if you drive around in an EV, but the average owner of a car, a gas-fueled car, is paying about $300 a year in gas taxes, so they think they can justify raising that fee for electric vehicles, or tripling it actually. They want to speed up project planning. They're saying it's taking too long not only to plan the projects, but to do the bidding and then the construction as well. There are ways to speed up that process, and they feel they got to pay their staff more. They've got a lot of unfilled positions, which they say speaks volumes. They want $34 million to increase salaries. Ken, I'll go to you first on this one. What are your thoughts about this proposal?
Well, the most intriguing part of it to me is the public-private partnership piece, because the corporate community has the resources to do it, and if the governor could convince them that it's in their best interest to move forward and make this kind of investment, I think it would be a win-win for them, because there are kind of signing opportunities, you know, billboards, all kind of things that they could do on the stretches of highway that they are responsible for. I think it's a great idea, man, especially the public-private partnership piece. We're already paying enough. Taxpayers are already stretched, but that public-private partnership, I think, is an interesting piece.
I agree with Doc Whalum. I think that that's a great opportunity for Tennessee, but I also like the toll roads too. You know, for those of us who want to get down that highway a little bit faster, I'd be willing to pay, and it's a revenue generator for the state too. So I like that as an option too. I always thought toll roads would great. They have them in Illinois and Indiana and New York and some of the major states, and so we could use it down in this part of the in Tennessee.
The cynic in me says, though, that this will disproportionately benefit Nashville, because we know the congestion issues that they have faced. They really are in a much more difficult situation now than we are. Not that we don't have our own, rush hour concerns, but in Nashville it's almost always rush hour these days.
Right.
And they had an opportunity to improve their situation. There was a huge, massive infrastructure bill that was going to bring light rail to Nashville, was going to widen some interstates and do a lot of the things that's been suggested. It sounds like with Nashville voters rejecting that proposal, the state is now taking that on, and they're going to try and make it seem all rosy to everybody by saying everyone in the state will benefit. But we all know who's going to get most of that money.
Richard, I could care less what happens in Nashville.
You don't care?
I couldn't care less. But since the governor has been making so many forays into West Tennessee lately, I don't know, maybe it's Blue Oval City?
That's
I don't
what
know.
I was gonna say.
But let's try to get some of his attention focused on maybe the West Tennessee. Let Nashville fend for themselves.
I think that's going to help too with Blue Oval City being constructed. I think it's going to help with that transportation going up and down that highway. So I think it makes sense, and I hope he can fund it and make it happen.
Yeah, well, we'll watch it and see. But usually, if you can get the companies behind it, the corporate support, usually that's the most, that's the biggest step.
Well, and I think he can.
Yeah. All right. Very good. When we come back, we'll talk about a fairly large controversy that surfaced this week involving Methodist Healthcare refusing from now on to do gender-affirming surgeries. We'll be right back.